Hey everybody, so I wanted to create a tutorial for the Discord bot since there's very vague instructions or actually no instructions, so I figured a video would be the easiest way to convey that for everyone. So let's just get right into it. So we want to start at the GitHub here. We want to download the code. So to do that, you can clone the GitHub repo. So what we do is we copy. I do this through git bash, so the easiest way I've found to do it is to create a new folder. We can just call it testbot, that's fine. Open it up, and then git bash here, do git clone paste, and it should clone it to our folder. Here we go. So these are all the files. Perfect. That's the hardest part of this whole process. If you don't have git bash installed, it's really easy. You can just Google git bash installation and you just download and install it here. So now that we've done that, you're going to need to create an AutoCode account. So AutoCode is this website here, and it basically lets you host the Discord bot for free, and it has a bunch of built-in utilities, and it's a really awesome platform that I utilized for this bot. And so the code is tailored for this and doesn't really work aside from AutoCode. You can adapt it to work just as like a Node.js server, but the AutoCode just makes it way easier. So once you guys have created an account, I don't want to go through that process again since I already have an account. So what I'll do is just create a new web service. That's what you'll do as well once you've created the account, and we'll call it tutorial bot or something along those lines. It doesn't really matter. So there we go. Creating our new bot here. You can delete this function. Just right click and delete it over here. And then we're also going to need to create an Airtable account. So what you'll do is you'll just go to Airtable, and that will let you create an account like this. And then it'll say workspaces, and you're going to add a base. And we're going to call this tutorial bot. That's our base, and our table name, we can rename it to tutorial. That'll work for now. So we're going to need to set this up in a specific way. Here we're going to want this to not say name, we're going to want it to say member ID. Here we're going to want this to say wallet address. Let me make sure I get this correct. Don't want to lie to you guys. So if we go back here, I can up this. So we're gonna want to match it just like this. This guy is actually called wallet string, and it is a long text value. So if I duplicate this tab, then go back into the new one, this is actually going to be called wallet string. Perfect. We can delete this field, we can delete this field, add a new one. We want it to be long text, and the next one will be asset ID, like that. We'll create that field, make a new one. We want it to be long text. The name, we want it to be name list. There we go. Create that field, and then there's one more, and I believe it is IPFS list. Just like that. Yes, perfect. So now your Airtable base is set up perfect. We can delete these records that are in here. So on a free account, I believe you can have up to 1,200 records per base, and then you have to start paying for it. So if your collection is larger than 1,200, you will have to, I guess if you end up having 1,200 people who use the register bot, you will have to pay for the Airtable service or migrate databases. But at that point, that's a bridge you'll have to cross when you get to that point. So now we have our Airtable set up. The next step is going to be to set up our Discord bot. And so to do that, we'll just do, say, if you start from Google, we'll just say it's Discord developer. Click here. It'll take you to the documentation. Up here in the top left, it says applications. We're going to want to click that. So now we can go to create a new application up here. You just sign in with your regular Discord account. So that's all that is. We'll call it tutorial bot. Here we go. Perfect. And so then we'll come down here to bot and we'll click add bot. And then we'll say, yep, we want to add it. This is where your bot username will show up. So whatever you want your bot to be titled inside your server, you'll change it here. And then you can change your bot image here, like your profile image. So for example, in my bot, the profile image is this, and it's called verify bot. So it's whatever. Now we're gonna go here. We're coming back to autocode. What we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to take our files we downloaded from GitHub or we copied over. Here you can see the file structure is really similar. So we have www, and then instead we have a folder called functions. I think we should be able to drag that over here. I lied. That's not what we do. We're going to want to go to upload files, excuse me. Desktop, and come here, functions, setup, events, Discord. So these are all the commands that we want. We want to upload those. I'm going to create a new folder, call it commands. I want to select all of these, move them into the commands one by one. It'll be easier if you create the folder first and then upload the files into the folder. Just a heads up. And then we're going to want to create a new folder matching this file structure. Call it message. Then we have button and select menu. So we have button and then new folder, select menu. Like that. So then we'll upload files here and we'll go back to message. This was select menu. So we'll upload the select menu command. And then in the buttons, we will also upload a file. To button, opt-in button. Perfect. Now it should be able to be saved. It might not let us save it because the linked resources aren't linked yet. That's where the next step comes in. So we go Discord. We want to link our Discord account, our Discord bot. This is how we connect the autocode to the Discord bot. So we click link. And we're going to say new resource. And then this will walk you through the process, but I'll go ahead and go through it with everyone here. So this is just telling you to create the application like we did through the new application and then naming it. So now it wants our client ID. So that's going to show up in our OAuth portion of this Discord developer here. So we go to OAuth, OAuth 2, and then we copy our client ID. We come back here, paste that in there, and then we go back to Discord developer and we copy the client secret, paste that in there. Next step, perfect. So we have to add a redirect so that way the Discord bot knows. That happens sometimes. I don't know quite why, but if that does happen to you, just go back and do it again. It's not that bad of a process, so you can just copy it there. And then we go to OAuth redirects. So here, add a redirect. Oops, I guess copy it. There we go. And paste that in there. Save our changes down here. Perfect. So now we have a redirect. Click next, and we add the bot like we did earlier. So we've already done that, but we're gonna need our token. So we come here, we go to bot, and we go here to token, copy our token, and this allows for communication between AutoCode and the Discord bot. So you can see here, you can add it to whatever server you want. I have a test server that I've created, so I'm just gonna add it to that server. It gives it access to all of these, and it creates commands in a server, so it's basically like an admin. It gives it admin permissions, or whatever permissions you specify. And that's done through the Discord bot like page up here. You can give it different permissions down here. So now our Discord tutorial bot is linked. Now we also have to link our Airtable. So to do that, we're gonna click down here, we're gonna click link new resource, sign in with your AutoCode account. Airtable, excuse me. Let it do its thing. And then we're gonna select our base that we made. So our base was tutorial bot. That's now linked. Beautiful. Click finish. So now everything's linked. And we should be able to save all of these just by clicking save. So now everything's connected. The only problem is we have to go through and save all these files, so that way AutoCode saves them. Now the one problem we have currently is that we need to, as you can see in the test server, there are no slash commands coming from the tutorial bot. The slash register is only coming from my verify bot that I've created. It's not coming from the test bot. So now to add these slash commands, we need to go to AutoCode slash command builder. So we'll go to Discord slash command builder. We'll click here to link an account, and we want tutorial bot. So you'll click the one that you've just created. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this tab and link the one that is correct, so I can give you an example of what the command should look like. You go to global commands. I think I might have linked the wrong one. Excuse me, I'll refresh this. I selected the wrong bot here. We wanted, I accidentally named my final version of the bot, test bot, so it's nice and confusing for myself. But anyway, these are our commands. So you're going to want to come back here and select the server that you invited it to, or you can do global command. Global command takes a few hours to show up on the server. If you select the specific server, it will show up immediately, basically. So we're gonna select the server we invited it to just now. We're gonna add a command name. You're gonna have to do this a few times. You're gonna have to add quite a few commands. So let's just start with register and give it a description. So this is the command used to register your owned NFTs. There we go. So then we go to options. So what we want them to give us back is their wallet address, right? And so that is called a string data type in this case. And so we're gonna do wallet address, just so that way people know what it is. And then we're gonna give it a description. This is your wallet address that owns the NFTs. While I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna lowercase that just for my own personal preference. Okay, and so then this is set up. So there's a bunch of other commands. So if I come back over here, we've got register, we've got flex. So flex you don't have to do any options for, so let's go ahead and do that. Flex, you can't put spaces, that's what it was telling me there. And you say this is the command to flex your NFTs. Perfect. So we don't have to have any specific options there. You can click save in between. And so now our commands are set up, easy peasy. We're gonna have to go through and set up all of these. So there are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 commands. So here's where the first optional step comes into place. The help verify command is not the optional one. I mean, it is. You don't have to have a help command. So there we go. So where the optional part comes in is if you want to manually define certain variables or if you want a command that defines them for you. I wrote commands that defines them inside the code, so that way in Discord you can just go ahead and use the command, type out what you want it to be defined as if you're not too keen on coding. So if you don't feel like changing any of the code, I would recommend go ahead and using the commands to do this. But if you do want to go ahead and change up the code and manually define it because you don't feel like creating all of these slash commands, feel free, be my guest. It's no big deal either way. I'm gonna go ahead and create all these commands over here. We're gonna start with config creator wallet. So this is the command that sets the collection creator wallet. So whatever wallet you use to mint your NFTs. And what we want it to return is a string, and we want to call it creator wallet 0, I believe. So nothing after it. You can give it a description. You have to give it a description. You can't not give it a description. It won't let you save it. So there we go. And then we're going to want to add another thing that they can give. The first one is required. Anything past that is optional. So if your collection has more than one creator wallet, i.e. your collection is greater than 3,000 or greater than 1,000 NFTs, you're going to have to do multiples like this. So you'll do creator wallet 2. I must have given it a space somewhere. There we go. And then you can copy this and put it down here. And then we'll do that one more time. And we'll call it creator wallet 3. And we'll paste the same description. Perfect. So now we've got the config creator wallet command. So then we do config collection name. So this will let you set the collection name inside the code, so whatever the name of your NFT collection is. There we go. And so we're going to add another string. We're going to call it collection name. We're going to give the description. This is the collection name. Perfect. It is required, so that way you can't use the command without actually giving it something, because that would probably break the code. So now this is also another optional command. If you want the flex command to only be used, the way the bot is designed is that there is a role that is given to owners of NFTs, and then there's a role that is given to people who don't own the NFTs. So like, for example, in the LFalgo server, if I pull it up here, you can see that there are LFalgo owners, and there are also a role called elephant in the room. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Yeah. So there is elephant in the room, and then there are LFalgo owners. So people who have the elephant in the room role are not able to use the /flex command. So that's how the bot is designed. As soon as someone registers their wallet and there does exist an NFT in there, it gives them the role LFalgo owners and takes away the elephant in the room role. So if we click on someone who is an owner here, you can see they only have the LFalgo owners role. So if we come over here, this non-owner is the role specifically that people who don't own NFTs will be placed as. So in this case, we want to give it, we can just give it a description called, this is the admin command that sets the role of users who don't own an NFT. So there we go. We want to come down to options. Instead of a string this time, we want to give it a role, which is really nice because it'll just auto-populate the option with roles. So we'll just give it a name like non-owner role, and we'll just say this is the role you want removed when a user registers. Perfect. So now we'll add another command. We're getting there. We'll do let's make sure I didn't do that one. Okay, so then we'll do the exact opposite of the non-owner role. We'll do config owner, and we're gonna say this is the admin command that sets the role of users who do own NFTs. We're gonna do the same thing, options, role, and then we're gonna call it owner role, and then it'll just be this is the this is the role of owner of NFT owners. Perfect. Almost there. A couple more commands we have here to do. So we have the config log channel. So every time someone attempts to register their wallet, it will log it to a channel. Perfect. Okay, and so options, if you guessed that we wanted to give it a channel, you'd be correct. So we're doing log dash channel, and we're just gonna say this is the channel, oops, you want the bot to log to. Perfect. And then one final command, this is just an admin command here. It's a check command, and what it lets you do is it lets you check a wallet that you give it. So we give it a wallet address. So we say this is the wallet address that we want to check. And basically what it does is it checks to see if that person owns an NFT. So it's just like a nice little way to verify that your bot is working correctly sometimes. Okay, and I think that should be all the commands that we have. Perfect. So then we'll say save all. And now we want to go back to our auto code here. And we would like to, let me see here. We need to create handlers for each of those commands. So what that means is we want to have code that runs when the command is executed. So to do that, I think the easiest way is, I lied to you, maybe don't upload the files yet. Let's go ahead and remove these really quickly. I apologize for that. Let's delete all the old ones we don't want. Yep. Okay. So what we can do is we can come back to our /command builder, and we can click create handler. So on the /register command, we'll click create handler. We'll add it to our existing project, and we want it to add it to our tutorial bot. So now it's opened it up here. So this is our handler, and you can see up here we have an event trigger. It comes from our linked Discord account, our Discord bot basically. It's the style of command, which is what we want, and it's the command that it's connected to is the register command. So that's perfect. Now what we'll do is we'll come to our files we downloaded from GitHub. We'll go to the command folder. This is the register command, so we'll open the register command. You can open it with Visual Studio Code, WordPad, anything you prefer. I'm just going to go ahead and open it with WordPad since I just need to copy and paste. We'll do Control A and then Control C. We'll highlight everything that's there. We'll do Control V and it should be all set. So then we do save. That's perfect. And then we will come back over here, go to our / command builder, and we'll just go down the row and do the same thing. So it'll open up a new tab every time you create the handler. So the easiest way to get around that is just to click save, make sure that it's saved, and then you can close out this tab, open a new one. So then this is our flex. You can see it names it based off the command, but if you ever need to check, you can just click up here again. So we'll open up our flex command, WordPad, we'll do Control A, Control C, same thing over here, highlight it, Control V, save, perfect. Okay, then we can, once this is done cycling and it gives you a green, that means everything's saved, so then we can close this out. We want to do our help verify, create that handler, close out this, open up our help command. This one's really small and a little outdated. You can update it with your own text, but basically what you would do is right here where it says fields, you would just copy this format, so Control C, and then after the comma do enter, Control V, change your name to whatever you want your command help to be. So instead of register, we can do config wallet or something like that, and then you can change whatever down here as long as it's inside the apostrophes, and we'll just say test for now. Click save, same deal, wait for it to quit spinning. That's the longest part, honestly. Okay, there we go. We can come down here to help verify. We can do config creator wallet now. We'll do tutorial bot still. So config creator wallet, open with WordPad, Control A, Control C, Control A, Control V, and then Control S saves it. And then we can kind of speed this process up. If we go to collection name, we just did creator wallet, we create this handler, we come up to config collection name, open with WordPad, Control A, Control C, Control A, Control V, and then Control S. Close that out now, and then what's next? We have non-owner, so we create a handler for non-owner. We come to non-owner role command, open with WordPad, Control A, Control C, Control A, Control V, Control S. Same deal for all of these. Config owner, create the handler. And you can skip past this part if you'd prefer not to watch me do all these, but if you want to follow along, that works too. Control S. Config log channel, we're almost there. Log channel, open with WordPad. And so the way that these these commands work, is you can see here, any of the config commands work by checking the player's role first. So if the user doesn't have the role that is titled admin, it won't let them change any of the configs. So that being said, for you to be able to use this role on whatever server you're using, you have to assign yourself the role admin, and it has to be titled capital A admin. But I'll show you the server side setup once we're finished with the whole bot. So we're close. Now we have the check, and that's our last one. Let me make sure. Yep, that should be our last one. We can create the handler. We can close out all these other ones that we don't need. We can Control A, delete, and then open up our check command. Okay, Control S. Perfect. So now we can close all that. So now what we want to do, and what I was saying earlier about being able to skip all the config commands if you wanted to. So say we want to skip the config commands. The variable we have to define, however, is collection name, role needed, and then whatever number of creator wallets you have. So instead of using this let creator wallet equal await lib utils kv get, you can replace that with let creator wallet. You have to make sure your naming is the same because it uses that name later in the code. Equals, and then you just do apostrophe, and then you type in whatever your wallet address is. So for tutorial sake, we're just going to say wallet address, and then you'd put a semicolon after it. And the reason it's saying red is an error, it's because we have the same name here. So you're going to have to delete this old portion of the code, and then it will say okay. So you can manually define your variables that way if you want to skip the config commands. I'm not going to go into super big detail about that because I think it's easier just to use the config commands. But for the roles, it's looking for the role ID, which is a number, and you can get that through the Discord server. So if you just Google how to get role ID, you'll figure that out. Another thing that you're going to have to change for these commands right here is your table. So down here, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our Airtable. This is our base name, so our table name is called tutorial. So we're going to have to come back over here to our auto code, and we're going to change our table name to tutorial. And what we can do is we can look through here in the code. There's a few places where it's used. Anywhere that the Airtable query or just Airtable lib library is used, you're going to have to change it. So there's one on the flex command, there's one on the register, there's a couple on the register. So if we double click it, it should show, okay, I guess that doesn't work inside the Airtable editor, but anyway, we're going to change it here to tutorial, and then here as well, whatever you named your table will take the place of tutorial. And so those are the two there. And then there's one down here as well. Want to make sure your name is spelled and cased the exact same way. So we'll save here, and then we'll do... Oh, I've forgotten that we have a couple other commands that I didn't create yet. So I forgot about these message folder commands. They're not commands that run off of a slash command. So how they work is you want to go to here and you want to click plus. We're going to click API endpoint down here. Instead of HTTPS, we want Discord to trigger it. And we want down here to be button interaction. And then the custom button ID, we're going to leave this blank right now, but we're just going to call it placeholder, and we're going to save it. And so then we can come over here to the button folder, our opt-in button. We can open with WordPad, Control A, Control C, Control A, Control V. Okay, perfect. We're going to have to change our table name here. This is basically just a copy of the register command, because what it does is it allows them to click a button to run the register command instead of having to type /register every time. And I will show off the function of this here in a second. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to register, we're gonna scroll down, and it's gonna tell us what our button is called, our custom ID button right here. So this will be where we get our custom ID from. So we're going to copy this. It's just at the very bottom of the register command. We go back to our first one, the button interaction. And instead of placeholder, we're going to replace that. We're going to save it. So now it's saved. And this will be under... so it's not saving it. I'm not sure why it's not saving it. There we go. Now it's saved it. It's created its own folder. So now you can see it follows the same folder hierarchy as our downloaded code. So we can rename it to something that makes more sense for us. And we can call it the opted in button. So this is basically the button that's titled I have opted in. So that makes sense. So then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make a new API endpoint, change it to Discord. And then in this case, we're going to use the select menu code. So we're going to open this with WordPad. Same deal. I'm going to come back over here actually before I copy it. And I'm going to come to the flex command. So in the flex command, you can see if we scroll down, looks like we forgot a table name there. So, to tutorial. Down here, our custom ID is flex select menu. So we'll come back up here, we'll change this to Discord, and we want it to be select menu interaction. And then we paste in our custom ID. Save the trigger, Control A over here, copy, paste, and then save. So now we can see it follows the same hierarchy. We have select menu. We can rename it to select menu flex, because this is the menu that pops up that allows you to select what asset you want to flex. Okay, so now that's set up. Now we will have to go through and change our table name in here as well. In the future, I will make a variable that you can just change the name of the variable instead of having to go through and search for each one of these tables. There it is. So now we can update this. It's inevitable that I missed one of these, so we're gonna try and run it, but it's almost a guarantee that I definitely missed one. Another really important thing is down here, we want to change this to 30,000 milliseconds instead of 10,000. And basically what that means is it gives our commands more time to run. So now if we open up Discord and come back here, there we go. And we can go to our test server and we can do /register, and we can see this is our new bot since there's no profile picture. If we click it, then it asks for our wallet address. So let me copy that really quickly. I have it down. Go. So now if I come back over here, I want to make sure the command is fresh still. So there we go. Paste in the wallet address. Let me make this. There we go. Oh, we can see it responded with @pdaddy, we're attempting to register your wallet. Perfect, so that part's working. It won't necessarily work yet because we haven't set up any of the config commands, and we also haven't, oh, you can see in the log channel, it also logged it. So you can see that some of our config commands aren't set up correctly. So to fix that, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that in our server settings we have specific roles. So we have a role called, we'll call it owner just for now. We'll make it orange. So we'll save that. And then we'll add another role and we'll call it does not own. We'll save that, make it like blue. And then we also have an admin role. So the admin role, I'm currently assigned the admin role. I don't have either of these. And so what that means is I need to add myself to the does not own just for demonstration purposes. So now you can see that I have admin and does not own. So now I'm allowed to use the config commands. So we'll do, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and kick that one, so that way it only shows one set of commands. There we go. So now we have config collection name. So we want to set our collection name to whatever your collection name is. So we'll call this tutorial collection. And it should give us a command back that says, perfect, collection name has been set to this. And then we'll do config creator wallet. So just for these purposes, I'll just give it my wallet, the LFalgo's creator wallet. So there we go. Perfect. And then it says and others if entered. Since we only entered one, if you have multiple, you can enter one, and then where it says two optional, you can add after this creator wallet 2, and then blah blah blah, and then you can add after that another creator wallet 3. But in this case we only have one, so we've got that set up fine. So we do config creator wallet, and we have config log channel. So it automatically populates with your options. So you can do hashtag log, and then it'll give you log channel or whatever channel you want. Click enter on that. It'll tell us that log channel has been set to a number, which because each channel has an ID number, and so that's the ID number of our log channel. And then we do config non-owner, so the role that doesn't own, so we give it does not own. Perfect. And then we do config owner, and we give it owner. And now just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna take myself off of admin. So now I'm no longer an admin, and you can see that config owner, even if I changed it to something, it'll tell me I don't have permission to use the command. So anybody who's an admin will have permission, but anybody who is not an admin won't be able to use it. So that's super important. You have to make sure you're assigned the admin role. So let's go ahead and add myself here back to admin. So now all the configs are set up, and now we should be able to do /register, give it a wallet address. Perfect. So now we're attempting to register my wallet address. It should also log it in the log channel. So it says @pdaddy, it gives you the user and then attempts to register this wallet. So we come back to general. It says we're not opted in yet. So that what this opt-in does is it allows us to verify that whoever's trying to register the wallet actually owns the wallet. So we'll go to accept ASA. You can change this asset to whatever you'd like. You just have to change it in the code, and I'll show you where to do that once I'm finished demonstrating. But if you don't feel like changing anything, or you don't feel like changing the code, we can opt it in down here. You can just leave it as the LFalgo opt-in asset, since it says opt-in asset anyway. Now we can come down here and we can say, I have opted in. The blockchain takes a second sometimes, so I am going to wait about 30 seconds to click this button. So once you've waited, it gives you a 3-minute cooldown. So if you have opted in within 3 minutes, you're able to click I have opted in, and the bot will be able to check that, and it tells you we're retrying to register. And so boom, we have opted in. So now we're successfully verified. It gives you blah 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 owner role, and then welcome to the herd. So this is a custom message you can change in the code. All you have to do is find it in the code based off of the let's see here, it is the opted in button here, and it says down here successfully verified LFalgo owner role given, welcome to the herd. You can change to whatever you want. These little stars just mean it's in bold. So perfect. To change the asset that you use to opt in, you go to here and you change your rand gallery link. So in this case, it's linked to the opt-in asset. And you would just change this number as well in the if statements up here, because if verify opt, it looks for the specific asset number inside your transaction, so you would just change that as well to whatever asset ID number you want to change to. But we can see now, if we go back over to Discord, that my roles now include owner. I no longer have does not own. So now I should be set up, and now I should be able to use the /flex command. There we go. And so what it does now is it'll run through and gather up all the assets that you own and give you a list of those here in a second. It does take a second, especially with this wallet, because it is completely full. Depending on how many assets they own, it will take a varying amount of time. But this one does take a second. It could be hitting a bug though, because I forgot to change one of the table IDs to tutorial. That is very possible. So what we can do is we can come over here to flex and we can pull up the tools. That's exactly what happened. It says it could not find the table. So if we go to what line that was in, it will tell us what specific line it was. 116. So that's fine. Come down. That was not the right line. That's okay. It's going to be up towards the top. Let's find it here. Tutorial. Oh, you know what it is? I forgot to save the file, so the updates actually didn't take place. So it didn't do that. So now if I do /flex, it should be. We can even come over here to check the progress because it'll pop up. It logs their role IDs, it logs their wallet, and then it logs the assets that they own up to a certain amount. It looks like it logs 3 times 1, 2, 7, 8, so like 24 assets it looks like. Yeah. And so then it pops up back over here with a select menu. You can pick whichever one you want to flex. So say I wanted to flex specifically number 313, or I can click all assets and it'll flex 8 total, just because that's how long the 30,000 milliseconds will let you flex. So there we go. It'll go through, it'll flex them. And what it does is it gives you a link to NFT Explorer and to RAND Gallery for that specific asset. So if I was to click like that one, it'll take me to like 215. So that's working great. Seems like everything's working perfect. Yep. So there we go. That's the main functionality of the bot. And then everything should be set up in this space. So I think that's pretty much it for setting up the bot. I don't know that I missed anything. Again, if you want to manually define these variables, you can. You'll just have to do it in each code file. And then you can also change the opt-in asset if you feel like it, but there's no need to. All it does is check to see if they've opted into that asset, and there's not a limit on how many people can opt into one asset. So there's no need to change it, but if you want to change it for your collection, feel free. I think that should be about it. Thank you guys for watching, and enjoy the bot.